For me, kayak fishing is simple. A boat, a paddle, a fishing rod, and unspoiled water. The fish are big. The chaos is beautiful. It's angling's addictive final frontier, and I'm hooked. I'm Drew Gregory, and this is Hooked on Wild Waters.
Drew Gregory's Hooked on Wild Waters has been brought to you by River Bassin Tournament Trail. No egos, just fun. Jackson Kayak, we make fun. GoPro, be a hero. Bending Branches, pretty, smart paddles. Orion Coolers, never lose your cool. 13 Fishing, make your own luck. Z-Man Lures, the science and art of fishing.
What is wild? Is it a swamp? A raging Class 3 river? The Everglades? It can be defined in many ways. But wild can also survive in our urban worlds. Man can only build around the rivers and creeks. We can never stop them. The water will always flow. And if there is water, there is life. And if there is life, there are fish. And if there are fish, that's where I want to be. I'm always on search for new types of wild waters, even in an urban environment. Today, we find that new type of wild water in Orlando, Florida, at the Rosen Shingle Creek Resort and Golf Course. I'm Drew Gregory, and this is Hooked on Wild Waters. Have you ever wanted to fish in wild places that you just can't access? Well, today we are so fortunate to be able to access the lakes and ponds at the Rosen Shingle Creek Resort and Golf Course in Orlando, Florida. And I'm with one of the stars of bass fishing, Mr. Chris Lane. He is a personality, trust me, he's a lot of fun to fish with. I'm giving him an opportunity to fish in a brand new boat that no one has ever seen yet, and he's never seen. It's the Bluesky Boatworks Angler 360. And for a guy that's never been in a kayak before, coming from the bass boat world into this boat with the stability it has, I think he's really gonna dig it. I'm excited to see Chris in the Angler 360, excited to get on the water and catch some big bass, and I'm excited to possibly do it so quick, we could even get 18 holes in. So we show up in the morning and there is just fog everywhere. I mean, it looks beautiful on the golf course and obviously a perfect day for fishing. We put in the water, we start making casts, make our way around the banks. At some point, we're definitely gonna get bit. We just don't know where. And all of a sudden we look over and we see there's a bubbler, an aerator in these ponds, you know, to keep the fish healthy. And man-made features, fish love. So even though this is a wild place, it's got man-made features, whether it's a culvert coming out in a creek or an aerator like this, fish love to congregate around them. So we make some casts over there and sure enough, we both hook up instantly. Bam, bam, fish on, and now we know at least where some fish are hanging out. Chatterbait, just like we knew it in the stained water.
Just couldn't oh. How about that?
Come here, come here. Oh yeah, the line got caught in her gill, so, wow, she's all right. Nice fish, solid. Crushed this chatterbait, crushed it. This is a great sign. I saw this fish waking right off the bank. As soon as my bait hit, the water is waking and she just swallowed it. So a great sign for the day. We are not surprised at all. They're crushing this chatterbait in the stained water. It's almost not fair, this bait in stained water. If you have murky conditions, a lot of current, and you need to get a fish's attention to you know, attract them on that lateral line, this is a bait. I'm gonna have to sit here and actually dig this out. That's a good problem to have. All right, here he goes, let her go. All right.
Boy, kayak bass fishing, it's got a whole new meaning with this blue sky boat, buddy. Look at there.
I know, that's amazing.
Big old fat belly, been feeding. Switched up, you know, I had a big blow up on the bigger bait, and then I switched up to the lane changer, and man, this one just came up and engulfed it.
Right away, that's amazing. Now you can see the bait, you know, it's small,
Oh, that was
just stacked
beautiful.
up over here. It's small bait, so match the hatch, baby, match the hatch.
Match the hatch. That's actually the first bass ever caught on this bait.
Nice. So I'm out here today with a guy that really needs no introduction if you're a fan of bass fishing, Mr. Chris Lane, 2012 Bassmaster Classic champ. I believe you won 7 times on trail, so it's pretty impressive. And today, it's pretty neat because we actually get out here with a brand new lure that you've actually helped River to Sea design. It's pretty cool topwater. Tell us about it.
Man, I tell you what, it's exciting to be here and to be in this boat. I mean, look at this thing. I gotta get one of these, but yeah, the lane changer actually came from the old Devil Horse, and that's all my grandpa used to throw, and it's all we would throw. And we designed it with the new plastic impellers that, you know, there is no tweaking to them. You get them out of the box and they work perfect and they catch big bass. And we came out with the Mistake and the Top Notch as well. So, you know, looking forward to being on the show and just having a great time, and to actually getting a kayak out here with Jackson Kayaks and this new Blue Sky is, man, it's awesome. And Drew, I know we're gonna be catching a lot of fish today. We're in sunny Florida, so tell me, what else are we gonna be throwing?
Well, you know, the water's 65 degrees, so we can go pretty much anywhere in the water column. Where, you know, this water is staying, we've noticed this morning, so I got a chatterbait tied on. We're gonna try your top waters. We're gonna figure out a pattern. We're gonna stick to it. We're gonna catch some fish on these wild waters on the golf course here at Shingle Creek. Have a good time, so stick around and let's do it. As I'm working my way around the bank, I'm using a technique where I just parallel the bank with my lure. Most of the fish are gonna be on the bank. Now there's no blowdowns, you know, trees that are just falling over like a wild river. It's mostly just matted grass, and then you've got the reeds, different kinds of grass that sticks up and grows tall. So the fish are gonna be hanging out generally at any location where there's something different. So maybe you have some grass that comes out to a point, just a bigger clump, or maybe you have a bigger clump of matted grass, something that makes a unique point generally, or a little cove, a little cut they can hang out in. They're gonna be everywhere that looks different. So what I try to do is you wanna pick your target where you think most likely the fish is gonna strike from and be hanging out. So what you wanna do is throw past that target. Don't hit the target, go past it. And right now there's not a lot of real estate, and I want a very, very subtle presentation. So what I do is I throw past that point of grass and actually land it on the bank where it's that clear opening. Then I can just plop it off the bank, reel it in. It looks just as normal as if it was a frog jumping off the bank. I bring it right along the point and wham, fish on.
You know, when you get to familiar waters, such as not so much this place, but as when it comes to Central Florida water or water in Michigan, you know, water in Michigan is generally always clear. So if you get in a situation, and down here in Florida, it's usually a tannic stain. And one thing about it is when it changes, like it has pretty much overnight or over the last couple of days, those fish aren't used to a dark, you know, stained, muddy thing, whether it was rain, whether it was fertilizer, no matter what it was. You know, if it changes a little bit, those fish are gonna change. You have to change up a little bit. They're not gonna bite near as good as when they're used to their normal conditions. So just keep that in your mind, and remember, you know, if you got some ponds nearby that you can go and the water might be really good looking, go try those. That's the great thing about kayak fishing, is you can just pick it up and drop it in the other one.
Chris and I worked around that lake pretty quick, and we decided, given, you know, minimal fish catches there, we were gonna move. And the beauty of fishing at a place like this is there's many lakes and many creeks even we can just go and hop back and forth to. And fortunately for us, you know, the Blue Sky boat, the Angler 360, has wheels built in, and I had my Boondocks landing gear on it. We just flopped down the landing gear and just hauled them right to another lake, and now we're in clear water and hopefully getting some big fish. This new pond looks great. The water is clear, and I really feel like what Chris is throwing right now is great for it. He's got his new lane changer bait on. It's a little bit more of a finesse-y presentation to a topwater bait, so it's a great bait for this area. And I'm still throwing the Z-Man stuff. I'm throwing the Chatterbait, I'm throwing the new cross-eyed jigs, and just kind of pitching it up into the weeds, pulling it past the points of the weeds, the little gaps in the weeds, trying to get bit that way. I'm making my cast, and all of a sudden, I hear this loud scream from Chris over there, and I turn over there and I see this humongous splash in the water, and it just looked like a beaver. It just hit the water with its tail, but really, it was a massive, massive fish. The fight's on. I gotta paddle over there and see if he can land this thing. Oh my Lord, yeah, he's barely hooked. Please stay on. Oh my Lord. Yes. Woo!
Ah, my gosh. The explosion that just came from this fish,
Pow.
I've never seen anything like it, ever.
Dude, I was on the other side, I heard it. It was so loud over there.
And if I'd have never been in a kayak, I can promise you, I've never been that close to a giant bass that hit top water. By the way, the new lane changer, oh my gosh.
That was incredible. We literally changed ponds, and then he puts the lane changer on, of course, and then we just catch these fish. The water's clear, it looks better. It just goes to show you, no matter if you're in a golf course pond, you're in a wild river, wild lake, if the scenario is not looking good, for whatever reason, you gotta make a change. In this case, it was changing ponds and putting the lane changer on.
Man, that's unbelievable. Like you could literally just pick the boats up, walk across to the other side, and catch giant bass like that.
For those who don't know, if I'm not fishing, I want to be playing golf. And Chris Lane's the exact same way, big golfer himself. So of course we had to get 18 holes in while we're at the resort. And while we're on the course, we're playing, we're actually talking about how similar fishing is to golf. We were fortunate to have the Brad Brewer Golf Academy at Shingle Creek. So we're gonna stop in, we're gonna talk to Brad, and he's gonna help us understand more about these similarities. Today I'm here with Brad Brewer, and Brad, you are the namesake, the founder, the owner of the Brad Brewer Golf Academy right here at the Rosen Shingle Creek Hotel and Golf Course. And you know, as I have learned more about golf, you know, it's my favorite hobby outside of fishing, but as I've learned more about golf, I actually realize how similar the two are. And you've written a book, you know, mentored by the king, of course, if you're not a golfer, that's Arnold Palmer. Surely you've heard of his name. So the accolades are endless. And as you've instructed golfers, you know, all the years, surely you've seen, just with equipment changes, right, and some tweaks in their swing and mechanics, them improve. Tell me, how much can someone really improve based on some instruction and proper equipment?
Well, we've had players that come in here and not know how to play at all, and within a year they've been single-digit handicaps. You know, it really depends on, you know, how much work you're going to put in and how much effort and that sort of a thing. But you're exactly right. You know, the equipment nowadays, you know, I had a fly rod in my hands this summer, and I was feeling what that felt like, and I'm going, wow, that feels like what it feels like if I just take it from this end now, because the shaft is so light in comparison to using the graphite materials and such. So very, very similar, and certainly that helps us increase club head speed. One of the foundations to good golf.
Right, and the fish, you know, rod speed is going to give us, you know, longer distance, just like the club head speed. And we actually, on the fishing rods, we have, you know, something very similar to a shaft of a golf club. It's graphite. There's also, you know, medium heavy action, which is no different than stiff, you know, regular, extra stiff, whatnot. So I think a lot of folks out there on the fishing side of things, you guys definitely take a look at your rods, your reels, your lures, and your line. This is all the equipment that can help you catch more fish. You're gonna be more accurate to your targets if you can look up and research a little bit more on mechanics of the swing. We're actually gonna do something fun now. You're gonna teach us a little bit about the golf swing and mechanics, and I'm actually gonna try to cast a rod here. We're gonna pick it up with your machine, and we're gonna see if I can get even better and more accurate and longer, which is gonna help me catch more fish, because again, I'm always hitting a target or wanting to hit a certain target in golf and fishing. Let's go do it.
Let's do it, all right. I'll kind of demonstrate what I watched with you, and you probably do it intuitively without even thinking about it, but there was a little step, a little turn, and then the cast.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that is awesome for a good golf swing.
And there's just a load that's happening in that rod. There's a load with that lure weight. And so, and there's a proper release angle you want to get, just like golf. You want this optimum release, you know, how many degrees is typically optimum for a driver, like for launch angle?
Nowadays, they want to get it up there pretty high, so like about 17 to 20.
And I'm pretty sure it's similar. If you're really trying to get the most distance out of your cast, you need to have that speed he's talking about. You need to have the optimum launch angle, because unlike a golf course, there's no rollout on a fishing lure. It hits the water and you're done. So very important the mechanics are, and we're gonna actually hit a few now. Let's see what we can learn.
All right, let's do it.
Well, hopefully you guys learned a lot today. I know I did for sure, and I obviously knew already how important mechanics were, but you showed me a little bit more, you taught me more. Thank you so much for your time, and I can't wait to get back here. Thanks, Brad.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So one thing you can do when the sun gets high, you know, fish still want to find the shade. They want to find the places they can ambush the easiest, the dark alley, if you will, and that's where they're going to go, underneath the cover of all that floating matted vegetation. And the technique I love to use to get to the fish in those areas is just flipping and pitching. And I'm pitching in here with this Z-Man cross-eyes jig. It's awesome, awesome bait. Go check it out, but I'm just flipping in here real quick, and then you just kind of work it up and down a little bit, you know, bring it back, find a new spot. So I just flipped my bait in there, dropped it in the hole, worked it down a couple times, and then wham, fish on. I pulled it right over all the reeds, back to the boat. Maybe, just maybe, we've got a pattern we can use while the sun is still high. There she goes. So I'm continuing to throw the top water, so is Chris, and we've definitely got a lot of solid fish today. We're really hoping for one more big fish. I think that was a tilapia spooking, yeah, I think. Well, maybe not. There we go. Maybe not. Not a giant, but this is the top notch catching fish.
Top notch's first fish of the year.
I love this bait though, man. Yeah, this is great. You know, you can reel it straight like a whopper plopper, or you can just twitch it like a devil's horse, or better yet, a lane changer. Look at this. Really, really cool bait. What's that, you got one?
Something just tried to eat it.
Just a few minutes later, I hear Chris yelling again, and I've heard this yell before, so I'm pretty sure I know what's going on. Oh, he's got another giant on the line, and he's reeling it in, fighting it. It's going crazy, it's jumping. The lane changer has done it again. What an incredible way to end the day. I mean, this guy's got two huge fish in an environment that looks like this, a totally different kind of wild. Could not ask for a better ending.
Woo!
Nice fish, Chris. Oh, dude, freaking what a fish.
Jeez
what
Louise.
a day, dude.
Oh.
Dude, you're crushing it out here.
Man, I tell you, I am hooked on wild waters, you know. First time in a kayak style boat, first time with the lane changer from river to sea. I mean, we designed these baits and they work. Drew, I can't thank you guys enough in Shingle Creek. It's just been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, what an episode and what a trip. You're definitely gonna be back, I'm sure, on a hybrid kayak like this. And hey, maybe you'll see Chris again soon on some wild waters. Believe me, I love to be in the most remote, wildest places possible, and I have no problem roughing it in a tent for however long I need to in order to get there and fish those places. But to have wild waters right there, next to this incredible resort, with all the amenities and all the hospitality at the Rose and Shingle Creek Resort and Golf Course, trust me, I found a new reason to be hooked on wild waters.
Drew Gregory's Hooked on Wild Waters has been brought to you by River Bassin Tournament Trail. No egos, just fun. Jackson Kayak. We make fun. GoPro. Be a hero. Bending Branches. pretty, smart paddles. Orion Coolers. Never lose your cool. 13 Fishing. Make your own luck. Z-Man Lures. The science and art of fishing.